Some perceive Trump's shocking decision as an impulsive one, but there are those who believe it is a calculated move, perhaps even a negotiation strategy. Will Soo-young help us find out if there's a method to his madness?
The cancellation of the North Korea-U.S. summit may have been a sudden decision, but it wasn't entirely a surprise. Experts on North Korea told Arirang News Friday it was clear both sides had lacked working-level preparations for a meeting to be held on June 12th.
I think the American side particularly wasn't really ready. Donald Trump wasn't really focusing on this very much. He was sort of interested in the drama of it and the theater of it, but it's not really clear that the president was actually doing the research and the time and the study necessary to actually debate these complex issues with the North. North Korea's behavior in the last week didn't help. They stood up American negotiators who went to Singapore. They just left them standing there for 3 days in a row. I think the whole thing was just going too fast.
Without sufficient back-channel talks, major sticking points remain unresolved. According to some experts, that is why both Washington and Pyongyang over the past week indicated they may call the summit off.
There's a little gamesmanship going on here. In Trump's case, a lot of the critics were saying he seems too eager for the summit, and so he's playing hard to get. And the North Koreans have a history of also playing hard to get. After all, the North Koreans said they'd walk away from the table if the U.S. was trying to force them to denuclearize.
Pyongyang has called for a gradual process of scrapping its nukes, an approach Washington has resisted, given the North's track record of breaking promises and backing out of verifying its nuclear dismantlement.
My strong hunch is, if serious people are working on the U.S. side, we will want to have the North stop producing plutonium and highly enriched uranium. That's the first order of business. We probably want to have the second enrichment site, the location of the second enrichment site, also told to us at some point early on, some declaration of how much plutonium and highly enriched uranium the North has produced and how many weapons they've had. They don't all have to be done at the summit, but those are key, critical early steps.
North Korea, on its part, is also likely to demand concrete steps from the U.S. First and foremost, a security guarantee for its ruling regime.
They want to make sure that if they do give up some of their nuclear weapons program, that the United States won't attack them. I think the United States is going to have trouble credibly committing to North Korean security, which is why the North Koreans will never go to zero. The Libyan model didn't work out very well for the Libyans, right? I mean, Muammar Gaddafi ended up meeting a pretty grisly end. So the Americans need to make a set of reasonable offers the North Koreans might buy, and then the North Koreans come back with something that we want, right? Besides security guarantees, if I were the North Koreans, I would imagine they're going to ask for sanctions relief, economic assistance, diplomatic normalization.
Before a new date and venue is set, experts say working-level efforts are needed from both sides, involving diplomats and nuclear weapons experts. They need to devise a framework that President Trump and Kim Jong-un can work with to reach a denuclearization agreement. Soo-young, Arirang News.